Pasadena's heart beats in daylight. Through its families, its growth, its hope. Every sunrise holds promise, and every sunset keeps it. Yet, in the quiet hours, unseen hands steady the balance. Behind each peaceful morning are stories that unfold in the shadows, moments of resolve that keep the city shining. When Pasadena calls, they answer. The following cases are real. These are the stories of Pasadena's finest. It's January 6th, and footsteps pound through the back alleys of Pasadena's north side. Once again, the suspect is running. For weeks, the suspect had moved through Pasadena unchecked, slipping through backyards and disappearing before patrol could close the gap. 10 home burglaries, a pattern of residential entries that had left an entire side of the city on edge. Twice that same day, officers had been close. Twice, he had vanished. But this time, the perimeter was already forming. Acting on developing information, officers moved into position. Drones lifted overhead, scanning the neighborhood from above. Patrol units sealed the streets, and as the suspect broke from the bayou, the net began to close. Then, K9 Bender picked up the scent. After a methodical search through brush and backyards, Bender tracked the suspect to a nearby residence, where he was taken into custody without further incident. With one arrest, a 10 burglary spree was over. August 2025, a quiet shopping center sits still in the early morning hours. But inside Zell's jewelry, shattered drywall and empty display cases reveal what happened overnight. Suspects had entered through the wall of a neighboring business, disappearing with thousands of dollars and stolen jewelry before anyone even realized they were inside. For Detective Thaddeus Walker of the Burglary and Theft Unit, this wasn't just another offense. Similar break-ins, targeting jewelry stores and pawn shops, had been surfacing across Texas, stretching from Houston to Austin. The methods were calculated. The timing was deliberate, and investigators believe the same crew was responsible. Using police resources, Walker and the rest of the Burglary and Theft Unit began tracking suspect vehicles tied to multiple crime scenes. Days of surveillance followed as detectives monitored movements, identified patterns, and coordinated alongside the proactive policing unit in an effort to stop the crew before another business was hit. Then, a break in the case. At Bayou Pawn in Houston, investigators watched in real time as suspects forced entry into the business and began loading stolen merchandise into a vehicle. With drones overhead and units moving into position, Walker and the rest of Burglary and Theft moved in, safely apprehending 3 suspects and recovering approximately $7,000 in stolen property. Burglary and theft charges have been filed on all 3 suspects. Further investigation, interviews, and cell phone data are expected to connect them to multiple burglaries across the region, clearing cases in several jurisdictions. On January 19th, the crack of gunfire echoes down the streets of Pasadena. Near Cherry Brook and Burke, suspects are fleeing. Behind them, shell casings, witnesses, and a neighborhood shaken by another daytime shooting. For the proactive policing unit, the faces caught on nearby surveillance footage were not unfamiliar. They had been seen before, tied to prior firearm incidents, tied to prior investigations, tied to prior warnings. For nearly a week, PPU officers conducted continuous surveillance at a known location associated with the group. They watched, they documented, they waited for the right moment. Then, one of the suspects appeared, openly carrying a handgun. As the group emerged from the residence, the unit moved in. 3 handguns were recovered, including 1 confirmed stolen, and multiple suspects were taken into custody before a single round could be fired in another part of the city. What started as one act of violence ended with a coordinated operation that very likely prevented the next one. It's February 11th, and somewhere in Pasadena, a 6-month-old is missing. And every minute the child is unaccounted for, the urgency grows. Detective Argueta finalizes a warrant tied to interference with child custody and immediately alerts Detective Ivan Mascaro. Mascaro pulls in Detectives Emily Guerra, Jonathan Benitez, and Arnaldo Castillo. 2 locations are identified. Surveillance is set on both. Every car that pulls in, every door that opens, every face that passes, watched, coordinated, logged. Patrol units stay in constant contact. Information flows in real time. And before the day can turn into a longer search, the child is located, safe, and placed in protective custody of CPS. A case that could have stretched on for days ended in hours. August 29th, 2025. Footsteps move through the second-floor walkway of a Pasadena motel. Detectives with the Burglary and Theft Division are watching a suspect tied to a string of residential burglaries across the city. Nearly a dozen homes had been hit, leaving victims searching for answers. But this time, investigators were waiting. Inside the motel parking lot, surveillance captured the suspect loading suspected stolen property into a vehicle before attempting to leave. Detectives coordinated with patrol units and initiated a traffic stop tied to an active warrant. Then, the suspect fled.
Taking the U-turn on Boulevard, heading back the other way on Broadway. He is bailed. He's going in. One second.
The pursuit ended with the suspect taken into custody. Investigators recovered thousands of dollars in stolen property, connected to multiple burglaries throughout the city. Additional charges included evading arrest with a vehicle, possession of a controlled substance with intent to deliver, and multiple burglary-related offenses. A burglary pattern that had impacted neighborhoods across the city was finally brought to an end through coordinated surveillance and decisive action. It's January 19th, and traffic moves the way it always does on a Pasadena afternoon. Near Robin Street, officers pull over a vehicle for an expired registration, the kind of stop that happens hundreds of times a day, in every city without consequence. Inside the vehicle, officers recovered cocaine, methamphetamine, THC, and marijuana, enough to raise immediate questions about where it had come from and how much more was there. A search warrant was secured for the suspect's apartment. What they found there confirmed it. More cocaine, hundreds of grams of methamphetamine, THC cartridges, heroin, and 2 firearms. A residential dealer's stash operating quietly inside a Pasadena neighborhood. A routine stop became a significant disruption of narcotics trafficking in the city, and a reminder that one decision, one observation, one careful follow-through can change what reaches the streets. A city isn't defined by the challenges it faces. It's defined by how people respond when those challenges arrive. Long after the sirens fade, what remains is something far less visible. A child returns safely home, a neighborhood resting a little easier, a business opening its doors for another day. Small victories scattered across a city of more than 150,000 people. As morning breaks across Pasadena, the streets begin to fill once again, and the next chapter quietly begins.